Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Here in the Green Mountains, you may catch someone referring to maple syrup as liquid gold. Now there's another golden crop that's sprouting up in Vermont. It's saffron. It's a spice native to regions with dry, hot climates like Iran or Greece. In fact, saffron grows on every continent except Antarctica. So maybe it's not out of the ordinary that this spice that's been around since the days of Homer has found a home here in Vermont. Across the fence's Keith Silva met a UVM researcher who's working to make saffron a new cash crop in Vermont.
Inside this flower is the most expensive spice in the world, and it grows in Vermont.
Saffron, the word of saffron, is exactly the dried stigma of Crocus sativus flower.
Arash, how many corms are in the ground here?
A couple thousand. Actually, we planted like 5,000 corms in this line for the research.
Like any crocus, the flower that produces saffron grows from a corm, the root system of the plant. Arash Gela Gala Bapahani is a postdoctoral researcher with the North American Center for Saffron Research and Development, housed at UVM. Saffron is native to the Mediterranean region and arid climates like those found in Spain and Iran. Like every scientist, Gela Gala Bapahani's research began with a question.
Can we grow saffron in the climate like this, like cold climates in Northeast? After 5 years research project, my answer is definitely yes, we can produce it here.
Saffron retails for, on average, $5,000 a pound. A single gram can fetch upwards of $20. Saffron is expensive because the flower defies mechanical cultivation. Not to mention, it takes a lot of stigmas, often referred to as red threads, to create a single gram of saffron.
The yield of a stigma is not that much, and to produce saffron, a gram saffron, you have to harvest like 150 to 170 flowers and then separate the stigma, dry that, and all this procedure needs time.
Harvesting saffron may be labor intensive, but it's easy to plant and cultivate, and it grows as well inside as outside, which is something Gela Gala Bapahani didn't know when he began this project.
When we started to work on it, we thought that the only place that we can produce is like in the high tunnels or in a place which is covered by plastic, like greenhouses. But after we saw people in Pennsylvania that are producing in the field, we thought, oh, maybe it can survive in the field too. And the yield that we got here, that was awesome. That was like higher than other saffron producing region.
Saffron blooms in late October and early November, a time that vegetable farmers refer to as shoulder season, the span between harvesting and planting. Growing saffron would extend Vermont's short growing season and bolster the bottom line.
We want to help small growers to diversify their farm. And saffron is a cash crop. We wanted to select a plant that doesn't have any conflict with other crops that they have. Growers can produce their crop in the summer when the saffron is dormant, and then after they are done with that, come to the saffron field and start to work in this thing.
The work done by Gela Gala Bapahani and his colleagues at the North American Center for Saffron Research and Development at UVM has created a community of growers worldwide.
Because we use organic honey and saffron.
At a conference held in March, 150 farmers, producers, and researchers gathered on campus to learn and to come together as a community.
We are one of the larger growers here in the U.S. now. We just put in 43,000 corms in the fall. And so there's a lot we still have to learn along the way. So this community here in Vermont has been really great because everybody's learning from each other and asking lots of questions, and so it's been very good.
The next step for Gela Gala Bapahani is to market saffron like another well-known and well-loved Vermont crop.
In other parts of the world, they produce maple syrups. But when we are talking about Vermont maple syrup, actually we are talking about high quality product. And we want to have the same thing for saffron here. We want to introduce Vermont or University of Vermont as a source of reliable information about saffron. So it's a thing that we want to do and we are trying to do at the University of Vermont and with the cooperation with the growers.
Speaking of the sweet stuff, I had one last question. What does saffron taste like?
Tasty. Yeah, it's like bitter, caramelized. It's delicious. You know, in different foods, in different cookies or teas, it has different tastes for me. And I think maybe I'm not a good person to answer this question, but as a word, it's delicious.
The word on saffron is it grows well in Vermont. And thanks to the work of Gela Gala Bapahani and others, it's poised to become a golden opportunity for Vermont. In Burlington, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
The researchers at UVM have another saffron experiment in the works. They're partnering with the Peck Company of South Burlington to grow saffron in between rows of solar panels. Joining me now in the studio is Agrin Davari. She is a postdoctoral research assistant in UVM's Plant and Soil Science Department. Welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thanks
and
for
we really brought you in to talk about cooking with saffron, which is terrific. But first, your connection with Arash Gelagolab Babahani.
You got it right.
Close enough.
Yeah, so thanks for inviting me. I'm Agrin Davari and I'm Arash's wife and also his colleague. So we both work at the same lab at UVM.
Yes, but on different things. You're
Yes, yeah.
studying bugs, but but we're talking about saffron today.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you learn to cook with saffron?
So I think I first learned to cook with saffron from my mom. I remember that she would always keep a small jar of saffron in her pantry that she would use every day almost for cooking. Later I learned how to cook with saffron from some Persian cookbooks. And one of my favorite ones is called The Saffron Tales, recipes from the Persian kitchen, that is available also in English. People can buy it on Amazon. And I think it's a fantastic book full of, you know, great recipes with saffron.
Fantastic. And it's a very common spice in the Middle East?
Definitely, yeah. I think Middle Eastern cooking is famous for its vibrant and powerful ingredients, and every dish has its own character, full of flavor and spice. And the spices such as saffron, I think, are the fundamental of a delicious Middle Eastern dish.
Right. Well, let's talk about what you have here, because it really goes with both savory and sweet. So this is gorgeous. Talk to us about what this is.
So this is a very famous, authentic Persian recipe called tahchin, which is basically saffron rice with layers of chicken that is also marinated with saffron and mixed with different nuts such as walnut, raisin, and also barberry. And it's garnished with some pistachio and barberry.
Fantastic. So that's what I've used saffron for, is for rice.
Yeah.
But of course it also goes with some other things.
Yeah, that one is also a dessert that has like different names. Some people call it like baklava cake, some people call it a Persian love cake, which is basically a sponge cake that is moistened with a saffron syrup. The syrup is made of saffron, rose water, cardamom, and sugar, which is like poured on the cake after it's cooked. So, and it's also garnished with a coconut powder and pistachio powder.
It's just gorgeous and beautiful. And this is, and you can see the threads in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it on the camera, because this is yogurt, so
this
I
is
can't
yogurt
tip
that I
it
mixed
much.
it with some saffron infusion. We used to like have a yogurt as a side in our, dishes. So I made that a saffron yogurt, to have it with a main dish.
Beautiful, and the color is gorgeous. Is that yellow made from the saffron?
Yes, yeah.
You think
the
of
whole
saffron
yellow
as
thing is
orange.
from saffron.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this is a drink that I made. This is also very popular in Iran. This is a saffron drink with a little bit of lemon juice and also rose water. And I also added some chia seed to give it a gel-like texture.
Yes, it's really intriguing. But you
Yeah.
also said you'll put some threads into a tea or
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a good question because these are all like saffron threads that are already like packaged and ready to be used in tea or any kind of drinks that you're interested. So yeah, we even have a lot of saffron in our
Fantastic.
teas. Yeah.
So let's look at. You also have a jar of saffron to make sure
Sure,
people
yeah.
can see what it looks like. And some people, it can be confused. Some people, because it is so expensive and
Yeah.
precious, will try to cheat. And how does that work?
So I believe that saffron has an unmistakable flavor and taste that cannot be easily duplicated. However, there are a few key ways that you can tell real saffron from fake. These are like aroma, flavor, color, and also the price. Real saffron has an aroma which is a blend of, you know, vanilla, honey, sweet smell. I remember that my mom would always say a real saffron smells sweet, but it doesn't taste sweet. So the taste to me is slightly bitter than sweet. However, the fake saffron might, you know, taste a lot sweeter.
Right.
And the other thing is the color. So once you know, rub a saffron thread between your wet finger, it leaves a beautiful red golden color. However, a fake saffron probably doesn't have that much strong.
Won't leave the strong color.
Yeah, color.
So, and you look for the threads, and I see even farmers markets here are selling it.
Sure, yeah. I would love to, as you said about the thread, I would love to add this note that the thing that is important in cooking with saffron is that we never use the whole thread in dish. So saffron needs to be prepared in a way that we usually make the saffron infusion by, you know, grinding it using a mortar and pestle or a spice grinder. And then once it's a powder,
we're all out of time. I'm so sorry, but you make it into a powder, and that's
yes,
how we use it.
Yes, we make
in
a powder,
cooking.
and then we make a infusion. Then that elixir can be used in any kind of, you know, cooking.
Got it.
That you got it.
And to learn more about saffron, there's so much to learn, including recipes that use the spice. Check the website for the North American Center for Saffron Research and Development at UVM. You can go to uvm.edu/saffron. Thank you so much,
Thanks for
Devali,
having me.
coming in and
Yeah.
bringing these beautiful dishes.
My pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.